Assalamu alaikum students, hope all of you are very fine. Today we are going to discuss the very last topic of our syllabus, that is the measuring development. It is for the month of April. Okay, before I start the measuring development, we need to clear the concept of the development. So what is meant by development? Development is actually an ongoing process of growth brought about by changes in the economic and social conditions of the people. Here we are going up, to talk about the growth of the people, the growth of the population, how we are going to give them facilitation regarding their different issues and aspects. The unequal distribution of natural resources and the fact that some regions are more vulnerable to natural disasters like flood, volcanisms, earthquakes, etc., are also factors that make the development of such countries a challenge. Whatever the conditions are in the country, if any country is facing challenges and difficulties or the disasters, the natural disasters, there must be some planning for that. Development countries are in a position to provide basic necessities of life to their people like healthcare facilities, security, and a good quality of life. Developing countries, on the other hand, face many issues and challenges in these areas. These are the very basic things for the population, for the people who are living in any society, in any country. They must have the security for their lives, they must have the healthcare system, a good healthcare system, and the good quality of life as well. What is the measuring development now? There is no single way to measure the level of development of a country. Various economic and social factors are considered. There are certain social and economical factors which are very important for the development of any society. Here we are going to discuss about. The Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, that is OECD, was created in 1961 to have countries improve their economic and social conditions. During 1960s and 1950s, there were different organizations which were formed to support economically to different other countries. They were unable to practice industrialization and agriculture issues. The OECD also provides developing countries with official development assistance (ODA), which supports the development and welfare of developing countries. So OECD was also working in that way to give the development or certain ideas and rules and regulations to reform these countries. So the African countries to the south of Sahara receive 25% of the available ODA fund. African countries are one of the third world countries, so they have been provided 25% of the funds. These funds are contributed by the developed countries primarily to improve health and education in the developing countries. So obviously these funds have been given by the developed countries so that the developing countries can improve themselves economically. Okay, there are certain economic indicators which are very important. We will also discuss human indicators as well. Okay, what are the economic indicators we are going to discuss here? The first one is the gross domestic product, that is GDP. It is the main economic indicator used to determine a country's rate of development, and it measures the value of goods and services produced by a country. The goods and the services, the products a country is producing for its people, right, that actually gives the value of the value of economic stability, and that is actually gross domestic product. However, the overall value is not as important as the value of goods and services in relation to the size of the country's population, known as per capita income. The complete value, the complete things and the services you are providing to your people, that cannot give the clear picture, right, of a clear picture of given goods and services. But the rate at which the GDP increases each year is the measure of economic growth, and it helps to determine when or if a country will reach the next stage of the development. So GDP also emphasizes, or you can say it indicates, the upcoming strength and the development of any country. Now, gross national product, that is GNP. It is actually used to determine a country's rate of development. The GNP is the total value of GDP and the earnings of overseas employees and the overseas investment. That is actually the total value of GDP, means the goods and services you are providing to your people, including the amount you are getting or the earning the people are sending to your countries or in form of investments. Wealth inequality. This is the gap between a country's richest and the poorest people. A country is not considered to be developed if only a small percentage of its population has a high quality of life, while the majority is living in poverty. And it also exists in developed countries. So wealth inequality, we cannot say that it is only resist in developing countries. It is also a part of the developed countries, where you can find the differences between the richest and the poor people. So inflation is a very important part for any society. What happened actually in inflation? Inflation is the rate of increase in the prices of goods and services and the decrease in the value of currency. When your currency is not valuable, but you are increasing the value of the goods and services, or the prices of the goods and services. Unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is the number of people not earning an income, mainly due to unavailability of work. Obviously, we can find unemployment in different eras in Pakistan as well. A high unemployment rate indicates that a large number of people cannot access the basic goods and services required for a good quality of life because they do not have an income. When the people who are living in any society, in any country, if they are not getting income, right, they are not earning, they don't have a space to earn, they don't have even a place to earn, so it is impossible for them to become unemployed. High unemployment can also be very costly for governments because they may have to provide welfare payments to the unemployment. And you can find in the different developed countries, if the people are not employed, so they are getting payment from the government. That is the unemployment payment which have been given to the unemployed. Economic indicators. Before I start the types of industries, you must know that it is a very important factor of economic indicators. In examine a country's industrial sector, the main consideration is whether it is mostly comprised of agriculture, manufacturing, mining, construction, energy production, or service industries. Developed countries tend to have more service industries, while the least developed nations are more reliant on agriculture. You can find the developed countries, they develop just because of a good industrial areas. They must have a good manufacturing processes. They are doing very well in mining. Their construction area is very good and they are grooming it. Their energy production is working very well, or service industries as well. Just for example, we can see in USA, that is one of the most developed countries in the world, agriculture accounts for only 1.6%, service industries 77.6%, and the manufacturing, mining, construction, and energy production accounts for about 33.7% of its GDP. Means they are working in their economic stability and economic development. Now come on the human indicators. Before that, we have started, we discuss about the economic indicators. Economic indicators actually are directly connected with the human indicators. What else is going on economically in your country, that has a direct impact on your humans. Factors other than economic growth should also be considered in determining a country's state and rate of development. An important way to calculate it is by using the Human Development Index, that is called as HDI, which was created by the United Nations in 1990. It is said to find out the economic growth of any country, we need to see the Human Development Index, and that was the idea given by the United Nations. Human development indicators reflect the social conditions of the people of the country. Each year, three things are measured, and these three things are very important, which are considered to find out the Human Development Index. Okay, life expectancy at birth means to provide an indicator of the quality of health services. Years of schooling for adults and expected years of schooling for children to measure education rate. Right here we are going to find out what is the literacy rate and what is the rate of education in any society. We need to focus on the schoolings of the adults and the children. Per capita income to measure the quality of life. How many people are getting particular amount of the income? What is the rate of income in any country? Okay, the next is the healthcare. That is also very important for the people and the population of any country or any state. Okay, healthcare can be assessed by the access of the population to medical care, including the number of doctors per patient, the quality and the cost of available healthcare, and the rate of spread of diseases. These are the important things in the healthcare system. You can find out how many doctors are working over there, how many patients are there, are you giving good facilities to them or not. Education. It is an important indicator of human development. It is measured keeping in view the population's access to education, the level of availability education, primary or secondary or tertiary, the number of students undertaking each level of education, whether or not education is free, and the literacy rate, percentage of adults who can read or write. These are the things through which we are able to know about the education rate of education, right, in any society. Okay, now life expectancy rate. Here how we are going to find it out. This is the average age to which a person lives. Developed countries have higher life expectancy, often because they have better quality of life and access to healthcare. We can say that in the developed countries they are giving a good quality of life, they are giving good education to the people are civilized, their people are educated. For example, in UK you can see the life expectancy is 79 years, while in African countries of Uganda it is only 57 years. Not only this one, you can see in Pakistan also the life expectancy rate in Pakistan is very low as well. Infant mortality rate, this is measured by the number of babies who died at the age of 1. Monaco has the lowest rate, less than 2%, 2 per 1,000 lives birth. The country with the highest infant mortality rate is Afghanistan with 115 per 1,000 live births. So it is said that within the age of 1, right, or during the age of 1, at the initial level or the mortality rate, you can find it must be very lowest, right? It should not be exceed, through which you are able to find out the good infant mortality rate. Okay, now the poverty rate. This measures the percentage of the population living on an income considered to be less than that required the basic survival. Right, the particular income must be given to the people individually to survive. The cutoff value of income per day, which divides the poor from non-poor, is called poverty line. The World Bank has set a poverty line of US dollar 1.90 per day, which indicates that people earning below this amount are considered to be living in severe poverty. So World Bank has actually set up this line. If the people are not getting particular amount, it means they are in the poverty range. More than 3/4 of the people who live in severe poverty life in South Asia and Sub-Saharan desert African countries. The poverty rate in developed countries is much lower than in developing countries. So for example, in Denmark it is 8.6% and UK it is 15%, etc. So here you can see as far as human indicators are concerned, they have a much difference between the developed countries and the developing countries. Now come on the access to basic facilities. This measures the population's access to clean drinking water, sewage, and other sanitary conditions that are essential to healthy living. So these are the very basic facilities which a country needs to provide to its people. The people living in developing countries do not have easy or cheap access to clean drinking water, and the governments of these countries do not have adequate resources to provide basic facilities for their people. So these are the things you can find out in the developing countries. They are not getting good water, or good or neat and clean water for drinking. Access to technology. So technology is not easy for every country to get it. Technology plays an increasingly important role in education, industry, healthcare, transport, and broadcasting or telecasting information. So technology is very important in this era. We must have technology so that we can be able to be a part of the global village. It is measured by the percentage of people with access to telephones, television, the internet, and the telecommunication tools. Government is spending. How much government is spending on its people? Where government spends its money provides a strong indicator as to its priorities. So it is the responsibility of any government, right? They have to give the priority to its people, to the needs of its people. Just for example, a government that spends a higher percentage of its money on improving health and education services and encouraging business growth would be considered more serious about improving their country's rate of development than a government that spends a higher percentage of funds